Have you ever sensed that your body is sending you a message, but you're unsure of what it means? Your symptoms are not random. The headache after long days, the tight chest during hard weeks, the stiff neck when you're bracing for conflict, these aren't just bad luck. They're messages. Carl Jung put it plainly, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The body is often where the unconscious first shows up. Have you ever felt a physical symptom that clearly matched an emotional moment? Comment 1. If you've noticed your body speak like this. Comment 2. If you're not sure yet, but want to pay attention this week. This isn't about blaming you for being in pain. Bodies get sick for many reasons. See your doctor. Use the medicine that helps. And at the same time, notice the pattern. The head that pounds when you are overwhelmed. The shoulders that ache when you say yes to everyone. The lower back that flares when money or safety feel shaky. You don't need to believe in anything mystical to see the link. When emotions have nowhere to go, they go into the body. Jung called the disowned parts of us the shadow. We push feelings down because we're busy, scared, or taught to be strong. But what we push down doesn't vanish. It compresses into tension, fatigue, and symptoms. Persona. The polished, I'm fine version of you keeps life running, but it has a cost. If your inner balance between giving and receiving animus, is off, your nervous system pays the bill. You've probably done what most of us do: medicate the pain, normalize the stress, adapt to the discomfort. It works briefly. Then the signal returns louder. A pill can quiet a symptom. It can't resolve what the symptom points to. Think of it like muting a smoke alarm while something still burns in the other room. No drama, no slogans. Just respect for your body's truth. Your pain is not an enemy. It's information. Listen to it. Answer it. The headache. When your mind outruns your body. Notice how headaches often arrive on the exact days your mind refuses to stop, when you sprint from tab to tab, calculation to calculation, rehearsing conversations you never have, and solving problems that haven't happened yet. The pressure behind your eyes, the vice around your temples, the light that turns hostile, none of it is random. It is the moment your body says enough. In Jungian terms, the thinking function has seized command, while the neglected parts, feeling, sensation, and intuition, are relegated to the margins. The symptom becomes a message, your unconscious pulling the emergency brake, so the conscious driver doesn't wreck the whole vehicle. Jung's framework clarifies the pattern. The shadow, those exiled fears of not being enough, of being replaceable, pushes you to overfunction. Persona. The polished, I'm fine, I'm strong, I'm available, keeps you nodding. Yes, even as your breath shortens and your jaw tightens. Introverted intuition. The faculty that detects patterns and whispers wise limits, needs stillness to speak. When you deny stillness, the psyche may impose it through pain. Individuation asks for balance. Let thought serve the whole self rather than dominate it. In daily life, the chain reaction is plain. Overcommitment compresses your time. Perfectionism compresses your breath. Avoidance of conflict compresses your voice until your head carries the conversation you refuse to have. You medicate, and you should, when needed, consult your clinician and care for your body. But pills alone are like muting a smoke alarm while something still smolders in the next room. The relief is real and temporary. The pattern remains and returns. The neck rigidity, control, and the cost of bracing. The neck is the living hinge between your head and your heart. When it locks, your world narrows, turning as effort perspective shrinks. Even breathing feels like it has to get past a guard at the gate. Read symbolically, Neck tension often points to rigidity, thoughts that won't bend plans, that can't fail control, that refuses to loosen its fist. In Jungian terms, one attitude has overrun the psyche. The persona says, I'm steady, I'm strong, I don't waver. The shadow hides the fear beneath that stance. If I soften, I'll be unsafe. If I turn, I'll be wrong. Jung's map helps name the conflict. The animus, your inner drive to assert, do decide may be overclocked, while the anima, your capacity to receive yield, listen, is sidelined. Introverted intuition, the quiet sense that alternatives exist, needs openness to scan the horizon. When the neck won't turn, intuition can't scout. Individuation asks for flexibility, not a collapsed spine, but a spine that can bow when wisdom requires it. In life, the pattern is plain. You brace before feedback rehearsing counters, instead of listening, and your neck becomes a shield. You grip the wheel in traffic furious at the immovable, and your body tries to move what won't move by tightening. You plan a week so tightly that any surprise feels like threat. By Wednesday, rotation hurts. Caretaking can amplify this. You hold everything together for everyone, so your body holds too until holding becomes a cramp. This isn't about guilt. It's about options. Medication, heat, and bodywork can help. Use them when needed, and consult your clinician for persistent or acute pain. And add the root work, make space for flexibility where rigidity took over. Try these simply and gently. Micro unclench. 3 times a day. Drop your shoulders, unclasp your jaw, and turn your head left, right, left, slowly, as if scanning for new possibilities. Name one alternative thought. Each turn. Another way could be control inventory. Draw 2 columns. Mine, my effort, my boundaries. My next step, and not mine, other people's reactions. The past. The weather traffic. Move items honestly. Your neck relaxes when your mind stops wrestling the uncontrollable. The shoulders. When the strong one carries too much. What are you carrying on your shoulders that isn't yours? The body often answers before the mind does. Tight trapezius, burning upper back, a constant urge to brace. Symbolically, the shoulders are where we hoist other people's storms, deadlines, moods, expectations. In Jungian terms, the persona of the strong one steps forward, capable, reliable, unfailingly available, while the shadow hides the fear that drives the role. If I put this down, they'll fall apart. If I ask for help, I'll be weak. Over time, that performance becomes physically unsustainable. The symptom is the invoice. Jung reminds us that what we refuse to acknowledge rules us from underground. When the identity of the dependable one is absolute, the psyche loses flexibility. The caregiver, rescuer archetype takes over, and your nervous system stays on hold-it-together mode. Individuation. The movement toward wholeness doesn't reject care. It balances care with boundaries and reciprocity. Wholeness says, you are allowed to help and be helped. Reframing strength is the turning point. Strength is not endless carrying. It is discernment, knowing what is yours, what is theirs, and what is truly ours. Strength is not stiff. It is elastic. It asks for support at the right time, says no without apology, and lets go of loads that belong to someone else's growth. In Jung's language, this loosens the grip of a one-sided persona and brings shadow material fear of disappointing, fear of being unneeded, into the light where it can soften. A simple practice can begin the reset. Place the load down, guided imagery. Close your eyes. Picture a heavy pack across your shoulders. On each stone inside, see a label. Keep everyone calm. Answer right away. Fix it for them. One by one, lift out a stone. Place it on the ground. As you release each one, exhale through the mouth and let your shoulders drop. Feel the weight difference now, not later. Could you set one stone down today and ask for a small bit of help? Comment 1 if you've recently put down something that wasn't yours to carry. Comment 2 if you're still carrying it and want ideas for a first step. Name what remains. Whisper, what is truly mine? Keep only the stones that are your clear responsibilities today. Ask for help. Choose one concrete request. Can you take bedtime tonight? Can you own this part of the project? Receiving support is not a favor you owe back immediately. It is part of healthy exchange. Micro rest, guilt-free. 5 minutes of lying down with a hand on each shoulder, breathing slowly, 4 and 6 out. Repeat the phrase, not mine to carry. Remember the reminder at the heart of this section. Life includes resting and accepting support. Your body is not a shelf for everyone's burdens. It is a living system that functions best when load is shared. When you put down what isn't yours, space returns for breath, for ease, and for the next message your body is trying to send. The arms and hands. Giving, receiving, and the grip. That hurts. Notice when your forearms throb after a week of, I've got it, or when your hands cramp, though there's nothing heavy in them. Arms and hands are how you extend yourself into the world, building, holding, fixing, comforting. Symbolically, they're the channels of giving and receiving. When giving is constant and receiving is awkward or guilty, the channel clogs. Jung's lens makes the pattern plain. The persona of the helper shines competent, generous, while the shadow hides resentment, fear of neediness, or dread of being seen as too much if you ask. Look at how you hold on. Tight fists often signal a tight story. If I don't cling to this role, this relationship, this identity, I'll lose myself. But clinging is not connection. It's control. Jung would call this a one-sided attitude. Individuation asks for movement in both directions, to give without leaking yourself and to receive without self-judgment. Start simple, right where the symbol lives. Open and close your hands slowly, intentionally. With each opening name, one thing you will release. I release the need to fix their feelings. With each closing name, one thing you will receive. I receive help, rest, goodwill. This is not theatrics. It's retraining your nervous system to associate letting go with safety and receiving with dignity. If guilt appears, others need more than I do. Write it down and answer it with Jung's insight. What is rejected returns as fate. Refusing to receive now often returns as exhaustion, irritability, or injury later. Examples are ordinary and telling. Your arms ache after days of doing tasks no one asked you to do because your identity depends on being indispensable. Your hands tense during conversations where you nod along while silently gripping unspoken truth. Your forearms burn when you carry the invisible work of smoothing conflict for everyone else. The chest, heart, grief, breath, and the courage to feel. Tight chest, shallow breath, a weight you can't quite name. Often this is not a fitness issue, it's a feeling issue. The chest holds memory and meaning. Jung would say that unintegrated emotion slides into the shadow and begins to steer from below. And one of the places it steers is the rib cage. When grief is postponed, when heartbreak is shelved behind functioning, when words remain unsaid, the heart space narrows to contain what was never meant to be stored. The symptom is a signal something wants to be felt. This isn't melodrama, it's hygiene. Breath is the bridge between body and psyche. Suppressed emotion shows up as erratic, breath-blocked fullness, a chest that feels armored. Persona says, "I'm okay," while affect is held like a dam under pressure. Individuation invites integration, not rejecting pain, not drowning in it, but letting it move so it can complete. Jung's counsel applies here. What you refuse to bring into consciousness will run you, and often constrict you. Common scenes illustrate the link. You keep a misaligned relationship afloat, and your chest tightens whenever you silence your no. You live for others' expectations. Your breath becomes a clipped metronome to match their rhythm. You get through the day by being fine. At night, the weight returns to your sternum like a stone. Remember the purpose of a heart to beat freely, guided by clarity and intuition, not by armor. Integration doesn't erase the past. It allows it to pass through. And when the chest softens, the message carries backward. Your back has been bracing for years, part as protection, part as habit. The back loads safety, and the backpack you can put down. Think of your back as the body's ledger. It records what you carry, seen and unseen. Upper back tension often shows the cost of carrying others' responsibilities. You take on the supposed-to-be self-unrealistic standards, permanent reliability, and your muscles write the bill in knots. Shift to the lower back, and a different story speaks safety and security. Worries about money, home stability, and the future often register here. When uncertainty spikes, the lumbar region tightens like a guard on night shift. Symbolically, this is the psyche's attempt to create support by stiffening. But stiffness is not support. It's strain. Individuation offers another path: cultivate inner and outer supports that let the body trust instead of brace. Real-life snapshots confirm the symbols. Your upper back burns by Friday because you run interference for teammates who can learn their own lessons. Your lower back flares each time bills arrive or plans change because uncertainty triggers old stories of helplessness. When you release even a portion of supposed to relief, often comes faster than any stretch. The legs and feet stuckness. First steps and ground. You can trust. Heavy thighs, restless calves, feet that ache for no clear reason. These often mark a conflict between movement and fear. Legs and feet are how you advance your life. Symbolically, they measure whether your path matches your truth. Feet also speak to grounding your felt sense of stability now. Persistent foot pain can signal uncertainty about direction or misalignment with your path staying for safety, while your psyche asks for change. Chasing change, while your body begs for roots. Individuation does not demand reckless leaps. It asks for congruent steps, small, honest actions that line up with what you know. Examples ground the idea. Your legs feel leaden each Sunday because Monday points you toward a role that no longer holds meaning. Your feet ache after weeks of circling a decision: no, yes, no, no. Only maybe so. Your body stands in limbo. Your calves cramp when you sprint from task to task without ever choosing what truly matters. Motion without direction is just spinning. Are your steps aligned with what truly matters, or are you circling a decision? Comment 1 if you're ready to take one small congruent step today. Comment 2 if you're still clarifying what needs to be released first. Ask the key question the legs and feet understand. What must I release to move freely? Often, it is an opportunity that's missing. It's permission. Permission to end what's over, to begin what's yours to accept. That fear travels with you, but doesn't steer. When you give your steps back, their honesty, the heaviness lifts, and the path, while still imperfect, feels walkable. A parable of release. The healer, the backpack, and a back that finally breathes. A young man comes to a healer with stubborn back pain. He has tried stretches, chairs, and creams. Who the healer asks gently, "Are you carrying on your back?" The question lands like a bell. He lists names, family, colleagues, and then hesitates. "I'm also carrying the version of me who never needs help." The room is quiet. The body speaks. The healer offers a ritual that mirrors the psyche. Write every burden on paper, she says. Not just tasks, roles, promises, fears. He writes, keep everyone calm. Fix their mistakes. Be available. Don't disappoint. Don't fail. Don't rest. The list looks like a lifetime. Jung's teaching sits underneath the moment what is not made conscious becomes fate. And fate here has been living in his muscles. They move outside. A small bowl, a safe flame. One by one he reads each line aloud, giving it consciousness, and then burns it. The papers curl, blacken, become ash. With each page, he breathes out and drops his shoulders. Nothing mystical happens. Something meaningful does. He experiences letting go, not as abandonment, but as alignment, returning items to owners, returning energy to himself. The healer asks him to place his hands on his back and say, "I don't have to carry everything. I trust life to support me." He repeats it until the words feel less like theory and more like permission. Over the next weeks, his pain doesn't vanish overnight, but it changes. He stops accepting last-minute requests as proof of worth. He delegates without apologizing. He names fear when bills arrive and builds small supports instead of bracing budget time. Honest conversations, a side project that lights him up. The back learns a new posture, not rigid, not collapsed, supported. The moral is modest, and firm release has power. The body's wisdom surfaces when listened to. Pain is rarely just physical. Every ache carries a story, and stories want completion. Treatments and distractions have their place. They soothe. But if the emotion behind the pain remains unprocessed, symptoms often recur, sometimes louder. The first real step is emotional ask. Which feeling is trapped here? Grief, anger, fear, shame. Then create a pocket of honesty. Pause, breathe, close your eyes, and let the truth register without judgment. If you want a starting vow, write, "I release myself." Read it aloud until your shoulders drop. When the next twinge arrives, don't swat it away. Ask what it's saying. Your body is not your enemy. It is your oldest ally, consistent and frank. Listen, respond, and let the message move so you can too. Here's the core truth gathered in one place. Your body is speaking so you can live more honestly. Headaches say you're outpacing your limits. A rigid neck flags control and fear of turning. Burdened shoulders expose the strong one script. Tight chest asks you to feel what you postponed. An aching back records loads and safety fears. Heavy legs and sore feet reveal stalled movement and a path that needs one real step. None of this is punishment. It's guidance. Think of this as a turn in the road, not a verdict. You don't need a new personality. You need new permissions. Permission to work with your body, to let tears do their quiet housekeeping, to place stones down, to say yes and know where they belong to. Take care of yourself without apology. This is the moment you move from managing pain to decoding it, then from decoding to acting. Your body isn't blocking your life. It's pointing to the door. You are not broken. Your body is speaking in the only language it knows: sensation, tension, rhythm. The value of this journey is simple and repeatable. Decode the message, answer at the root, and let relief come from alignment, not avoidance. Headaches, neck rigidity, heavy shoulders, tight chest, aching back, tired legs, sore feet. None of these make you weak. They make you human, and they make your next step clear. Here is your practical call to action. The reflex for real life. You can use the next time a symptom flares. Pause and breathe. 2 slow cycles. Inhale 4, exhale 6. Tell your body I'm here. Locate and label. Where is the signal? What's the word? Beneath it. Overload, control, burden, grief, safety, stuckness. Sort the load. What is mine? What is yours? What is ours? Return what isn't yours. Write down what is. Choose one microact. Say no or ask for help. Place a stone down. Write the unsaid sentence. Take a grounding walk. Make the smallest congruent step. Seal with a sentence. I release what isn't mine. I receive what supports me. Keep the medical lens when needed. Seek professional care for red flags. And add the listening lens so patterns don't recycle. Healing here is not grand or theatrical. It's ordinary and steady. A boundary spoken calmly. A breath taken on purpose. A page written and burned, a step taken today, not eventually. Before you leave, take 10 seconds. Hand to the place that's speaking most loudly. Ask what needs to be released. What needs to be received. Trust the first, quiet answer. Then act on it, small, honest, now. I'd love to hear from you. Share which body part is speaking and the emotion behind it. Your story might be the mirror someone else needs. And if you reach this point, type the keyword conscious healing, so I know you're in. If this brought clarity or steadiness, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next guide. We'll keep building skills that turn symptoms into direction. One last reminder, for the road healing is not a destination. It's a way of walking. You're already on it. As Jung put it, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Today, you listened and chose. What will you choose next? One microact or a moment to listen for the quiet answer. Comment 1 if you're committing to a specific microact today. Comment 2 if you want accountability or a gentle nudge to start.